Kia ora, welcome. I'm Jill, and this is Cup of Tea and a Yarn. And I'm coming to you from a very wet, wild, and windy Tauranga in the Bay of Plenty, New Zealand. We're well into, well, are we well into? We're definitely having a bit of wintry weather anyway. Just had our shortest day, so we're on the way back to summer, which is a nice way of looking at things. I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tea and Yarn. I've got something new on. I've got some things to show you. I did a little bit of shopping, and this is feeling a bit strange because this is Friday lunchtime, and I'm working as well. So I'm off to Auckland this weekend. So was going to get away this afternoon because the wild weather's supposed to get worse tomorrow. I'm going to a weaving course. So I'm doing a rigid heddle loom weaving course, and it is creative weaving, and it's been held at the Hand Weavers Guild in Mount Eden in Auckland on Sunday. So I spend the night before with my sister who lives in Mount Eden, so that'll be really cool. So Friday lunchtime, a bit different. Right, foes, finished objects, so's foes. This is my Verdure sweater by Amber O'Brien, which I finished last weekend. What do I think? I think it makes my boobs look enormous. I've tried different bras still. I mean, I'm not flat-chested, so, you know, they're pretty obviously going to be there somewhere anyway. But this does make them look quite large. It is very cropped. I did make it longer than she said by about an inch, so otherwise it would have been even cropped up. The bobbles I read wrong. I read the pattern wrong. I was supposed to go up and over and meet the back bobbles, but yeah, I'd already got to here when I noticed that, and that's it's too late. As it was, I had to redo the sleeves. I think I was redoing one of the sleeves last time I chatted to you. But yeah, I think I mean, they're really snug, but they fit quite nicely. I like the length. The yarn is one of that stuff from Spotlight, like mostly wool with some nylon in it. I don't mind it. Not nylon, acrylic, should I say. Whoops, what was it called? This one, Four Seasons Pure Wool. It's quite comfy. It's not itchy. So the whole neckline I didn't do right. I think I told you about that too, because I didn't understand all the short row shaping. It just made me confused, and I started 3 times, and if I didn't get it the next time, I wasn't going to make it, so I just ignored it. So what has happened is I quite like how high it is. I don't mind that. That's probably I'm not doing good things for the boobs though. But apart from that, it does kind of do this sometimes, probably because it is, yeah, a little bit higher, but I think it will settle. All in all, I quite like it. It's warm. Being out in it in the wind, and the wind doesn't get through it, so that's pretty good. Yeah, I like the fit as well. Jersey. I have 2 more finished objects. My other finished object was my socks that I was making out of my hand spun. I finished them early because I think I told you I was having trouble with the knitting, the thicker wool, even on the thinner needles, because my hand spun's not thin enough. So I just stopped. I made them into little ankle ones, and I couldn't even bother doing ribbing, so I just did some knit. So they've got a little roll top, but they go great in my sneakers. Keep my feet nice and warm. And yeah, I quite like the colours. I was looking at them now. If I'd have spun it, I could have, if I'd have spun it differently, I could have made it self-striping, but I didn't. That's quite good. They're a little bit long for me. I think yeah, I got a bit carried away on the foot bit, but they're good. My last FO is was a pair of socks that I can't show you because they were gifted and I've already gifted them, but they were just made from some opal. Opal, I've learned is opal, not opal. Sock yarn. Cool. My work's in progress. So finished the sweater, needed to start a new one. Got the thing about sweaters at the moment, or tops. It's strange. I can't put my finger on it. Like, why? I know that, like, when I started knitting a couple of years ago, it was shawls. So I have millions of shawls. I've had to give a lot away. But tops, I mean, there's only so many you need in your wardrobe, but they do take longer. Some of them. This one doesn't. So this one only started on Sunday. I've already done the yoke and 1.5 sleeves, and about halfway down the body. So I am making the love note. And the reason I've done the sleeve already and started on the other sleeve is I didn't want to make it as long as I wanted and then not be able to make 3/4 length sleeves. So for this, it was important for me to have sleeves to here at least, because I quite like it not to be really cropped, but at least to my waist. So just as I wanted to see how much I get from my yarn. So I did the body and then I did the sleeve and the neckline, and I managed to, no, that was about it, I think, from one ball of my sock yarn that I'm using. So then I'm just starting the sleeve, then whatever's left I can finish the body off, which it's, even though it looks short, but it's actually, you know, I have done quite a bit. I've done a few inches of it under the arm. I'm making, because I'm a very loose knitter and I didn't want it really big, I'm making the small size. I put it on and it's going to fit nicely. So it's not going to be ginormously baggy, but it's just going to sit. So yeah. The yarn I'm using, actually was thinking about this. I haven't been very good with my using Kiwi maker yarns lately, with this, you know, coming from Turkey and then this one. So this is a French one, so this is who it's from, and it is a sock merino tencel, 50% merino, 50% tencel. It's called Quoth the Raven. I got 2 balls of this. This is it. From a Kiwi stash page on Facebook. So I've got altogether, so there are 364 or 333 meters each, which is, again, while I was worried about the length because of my loose knitting. So I've just started that one. I'm doing that sleeve. So once I finish that sleeve, I can go and do the rest of it. Now, the love note, they hold together a lace weight or merino, sorry, not merino, the fluffy one, mohair. And I'm not a mohair person really. I like how it looks, but it makes me sneeze quite bad if I have it all over me. So instead, I'm using this, I'm using some vintage cobweb yarn, which I've had for a few years now. I made it, I got quite a bag of it from my creative fibre group in Auckland, and I'd already made a crocheted shawl out of it, which I'd put beads along the side of it. Took forever. My first like lace weight shawl, and so that's what I'm holding with this, so that I get the right gauge. I think I'm doing all right. That's only a week's worth, or less than a week's worth. And I've actually been into the office quite a lot this week, so I've been taking my sock knitting instead of my jersey knitting. Talking of which, I haven't got that to show you. Just a minute. Okay, so my other sock pair is, a friend asked me to make him some rainbow socks yonks ago when I had he'd seen some I'd made for another friend. So I did have a ball left of it's that stuff that is forgot what it's called. Perfect. That's it. The perfect ones. So I've got my two little balls, do my two at a time toe up. And I'd seen him last week when I was up in Auckland with work, and after then I felt bad because I hadn't started them, so I thought I'd better get them started. So these have been my this week work knitting. That's why I started them at the weekend, and then not too many meetings this week. So yeah, that's my handbag knitting. So I finally got my handbag knitting again since I'm going into the office a bit more and getting out and about, and yeah, doing more normal things, I guess. Yeah. This love note, I was also looking at the ranunculus, and kind of undernard between the two. Now I've joined a group. There's a podcast called Heather and Hop. I think she's in Ireland. Maybe Heather and Hops and Heather. Anyway, so there's a little group of them doing a knit along for the ranunculus, which starts on the 1st of July, which is just next week. I'm not sure if I can get that one finished by Wednesday, but I can give it a shot, can't I? Because I'd quite like to make that one too. And I'm umming and ahhing again which yarn to use, and I was thinking, oops, for the ranunculus, because you can use that in any weight yarn. I thought I might make it out of this one, which is some from Honey Hooley, which is like it was a one of a kind, and I've got two balls of this, which I've lost the little taggy on. Here you go. It is the Silky Bar Lamb, 50% silk, 50% merino, and there's 800 meters there. So if I wanted something a bit lighter and a bit more summery, I could make it out of these. It's a nice colour, beautifully soft. Because the ranunculus, they seem to make it out of either mohair or lace, but then you could also make it out of DK, so you can make it out of anything. Oh, that'd be quite nice, maybe out of that. And I really wanted to do something that really, this was quite posh for me. It was like $46 each, so which is quite an investment. So it's like going to be like a $90 top, which is there's summery colours as well, isn't it? So that's what I'm thinking about. If I can, which, I mean, let's face it, I probably will, because, you know, I don't seem to have a lot of whips at the moment. I've still got, which one, my Clara Jane still to go. So that's the cardigan by Hanging Rock Roost. I've done probably not enough to show you. I've done about this much. Still working down the body. I need to just put my mind to it and I'll do it. I think that, well, I made this because I'm going to get wear out of it now. I think this one's thicker as well, so I'll get wear out of it now, whereas that one seems like it'll be a bit lighter. Would be quite nice to have that one for Fibertron though. That's about 3 or 4 weeks away. I can't have everything done though, can I? Anyway, so that's my knitting. Doesn't seem to be a lot of knitting. I seem to be constantly doing it. I have been shopping. So I went online shopping and I got some man-made fibre from his new shop. I wanted to, I've got all these ideas of these socks that I'm going to make, and got loads of sock yarn, but I got some more sock yarn. So this was his everyday sock, and it came as a little, I think this is what drew me to it. I want to do tube and then do afterthought heels, because I've never tried it before, and then maybe the toes, like toes and heels. Never done it before, but I wanted to try that. But I also want to try scrappy socks as well, which is another conversation. Yeah, so beautiful. And I must have been in a green kind of mood when I went shopping. Oh, did I tell you, this is merino nylon. And I've made a couple of pairs of socks out of his everyday sock yarn, and I really like them. Then he had some pre-order special colorways. This one really caught my eye. It's just beautiful. So this one's called Deep Forest, again merino nylon, 80% merino nylon. So it's his everyday sock. I'm not going to put that on my feet. It's going to be something to wear around my neck, I think. I'd like to make cowls, and I like the idea of wearing cowls, but I think I need to make the long, thin ones, like, you know, longer, so they're kind of like this rather than flop. So I don't like the flop look. Very technical, isn't it? Anyway, so this is, yes, I think it would be lovely. It's beautiful. And the last one I bought from him was this thick and thin yarn, and I think at the time I thought it might be quite good to do some weaving with, because I've got some other stuff which I've spun, which is in blues, so it will be quite cool to incorporate this as well. I've also got some bits of blue fibre, and part of my course on Sundays I said, you know, if you bring bits of fibre, we'll kind of show you how to incorporate it into your weaving. So it might make it like a wall hanging or a scarf. Who knows? But it's really nice. It says it's bulky. Weight, I think. Yeah, so 6mm needles. That's quite cool. So this is 100% merino with a poly binder. But yeah, so thick and thin. So it kind of looks like my my spinning anyway, except for more consistently thick and thin, where mine's kind of just as it comes. So there's some of my actually that's all of my purchases. Still thinking about, you know, trying not to try and buy too much, because I've got lots of things that I can make. Wondered what that was then. It's just a tag. So I've still got, you know, yarn to make things with, so I don't need to purchase. Also, Fibertron's coming up in 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I would like to do a bit of purchasing there, because, you know, in person, touching, feeling, squishing. I have plans to be there really early. So, like, if there's a queue, I'm at the front. Bad day. Anyway, my spinning. I've done a little bit of spinning. This is, so I said how I had the Hilltop Cloud Time Travelers Club Fibre Club, and I'd cancelled it just recently, but things are still in the mail. So I've just received the April one, and it was called Fireworks. It was really different for me. It had bits of stuff in it. So it's 15% sari silk, 30% zoutevels, which I just read is a sheep from the Netherlands, and 55% merino. So I had quite a lot of fun spinning it, and I thought with all those bits in it might be hard, but it's not. It's really soft. It hasn't had its wash yet. I've just taken it off the niddy noddy to show you. But it's kind of pinks, and yeah, it's really beautiful. I actually think, I know, I thought the other one would go with it, but I think this will go with this as well. Got so many things to go with other things at the moment, which is quite cool. Yeah, so that's my spinning I've done. And I didn't, I was going to spin that brownie stuff that had arrived and put it with this one that I had left, but I didn't. In the end, I've just made another one of those for that. Then I've got two of that. Don't put it up there because I haven't washed it. Put it down here till I remember to wash it. Yeah, so that's my spinning. My embroidery, there is no update. I still can't thread that blooming needle. I need to think about other ways to do that. I've looked online to do the thing. The little hole's too small. I had to do a bit of hand sewing the other day, and I managed to thread a small needle. So maybe I'll just use that one. I don't understand really. I mean, I'm a beginner, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem if I don't use the right needle. Yeah, you know, that whole Kiwi number 8 wired thing. Just make do with what I have. And yeah, I did redo my library book with all the little miniature ones in, so I'm still keen. I'm just not very good at threading needles. So I have to work on that one. It probably would help. I put my glasses on when I tried. What else have I got? My weaving course I've told you about, very exciting. I'm also doing a 5-gram mini swap through a Facebook page. So there's, I don't know, about 20 people, 40 people, and you do 100 grams of indie dye yarn, and you split it up into 5-gram minis, like this. Then you label it and send it away, and then a couple of weeks later you get a bag of 25-gram minis back for all different ones, and it's all indie dye yarn. I have no idea what I want to do with 25-gram minis, but I'm sure it'll be something fun. I'm thinking a cowl or something. Maybe. I know that I think the whole swap is for a scrappy blanket, but yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that. Yeah, so 5-gram minis. Sorry, I had to pause there. Back now. A bit of work in between. Yeah, so I don't know really what I'm going to do with all of those minis, but I'm sure it'll be fun to get them and see the different colours, and yeah, I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I thought I'd show you the things I'm taking with me to put in my weaving thing. They said to bring bits and pieces, so I've got some art yarn. With an art yarn like that because, you know, I didn't know what the heck I was doing when I made it, so it's just me playing, and it's actually better than I thought it was. I think I bought some of that silver kind of crochet stuff, like thread. Oh, now there's a plane. We're in the flight path, and over lockdown couldn't hear planes, but now they arrive quite often, which is nice, you know, everyone getting back to normal. Yeah, so the silver thread that you get where all the crochet cotton is, I'd gotten some of that, and I'd tried core spinning. That didn't work. I think that's this bit. This is my core spinning. Yeah, that didn't work at all. But then I tried plying, just like using, like spinning and making blobs. So many technical things. So here's my thick and thin anyway, which is thick there, and then it's not thick again for a little while. It's a bit, it's kind of art yarny, isn't it? After I did it, I was like, well, now what do I do with it? But I thought, no, I can take it up and put it into my weaving, my creative weaving next on Sunday. That'd be quite cool. And I have some other stuff as well that other bits and pieces that I've been playing with. This is just some leftovers that I just spun together, 2 little bits. I've got some other stuff with a bit of silk in it. I tried spinning silk hankies and then spinning kind of like this, you know, tried to spin the other things with what I'd spun with the silk hankies. It was fun to play, but then what do you do with it afterwards? And if this guy can show me how to use that stuff creatively in weaving, then that would be really cool. More excuse to play. And I've got, you know, some leftover fleecy bits to take with me as well. I put them all in my little Doctor Who sock bag that I got in Dunedin. Hey, there we go. Yeah, not much really else. I think that's about it. I'm hoping tomorrow, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've decided I'm going up to Mum and Dad's tonight and then head up into Auckland on Saturday morning. I know there is a Knit Cafe meeting on Saturday. They're going to a yarn shop in Auckland and they're having breakfast before, so I might go too. I've sent a message to Belinda saying, hey, you know, we've got a space. Can I come for breakfast? 9:30 in the city. I should be able to make it. It's only an hour from my mum and dad, so that's not too bad. And then, yeah, go do a little bit of yarn shopping. I think I'm going to need the right size needles to make that ranunculus, because I don't think I have that size. So minimum purchase is some needles so that I can get started on that. Cool. Okay, I think that's all. Doesn't seem to be a lot. I know that I thought about podcasting last week because I did have a lot to talk about because I finished my jersey and finished my socks. I don't seem to have made a lot of progress of much since apart from that, which is a bit weird that I'm not casting things on. Let's see. Maybe, yeah. I feel like I should, but anyway. And I'm just stalling. I'm going now. Okay, I hope you guys are all right, and life's treating you well, and you're either keeping warm because it's chilly or you're enjoying some summer sun. Okay, and I'll see you next time. Ka kite.